Well, hello everybody. Fight, fight, fight. Win, win, win. This was WEF, the major post that a lot of people, even today, are still minimizing. They think it's going to be different. There's institutions, there's NGOs, shared civil societies, corporations inside Canada, USA. They're going to change, that these lobbyists are going to change America at its core. The reality is it isn't, not at the national level. We watched a president of the United States of America get on the biggest stage in the world, Europe, the whole world, for 75% of those dictators, civil law socialists, monarchies, communists. Watch Donald J. Trump get up there, basically fight, 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 and announce win, win, win. And the fallout from that is immense. It's immense. Right now, today, absolutely, Greenland, through its oligarchy, monarchical masters, is going into trade talks with Donald J. Trump, which is really national security talks on the Arctic. Rubio, appointed, Senate confirmed, now stands there and says, no, we're going to talk about our treaties, your violations. And folks, if you missed WEF, Donald J. Trump listed a lot of countries, first and foremost being Canada. I have a chart, deadly accurate. I went through it tonight. This is the GOP. This is Donald J. Trump with little to no opposition from the Democrats. They're staying silent. Why would that be? Because they've been following along too. They've been looking at it, and they've been working with the GOP and Donald J. Trump. All of them, Joe Biden, Kamala, no. But Barack Obama's there. Many from the far left are there. They've already spoken up about it, and the party's staying quiet, letting him roll it all out. Folks, there's a number of countries. I've called them the 9 kingdoms because that's exactly what they are. These are constitutional monarchies that before World War II largely ran the entire world. Yes, UK was the height of that. You had France, Germany, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, many other European nations, even the Middle East under the Ottoman Empire. Many of them that have broken up are still constitutional monarchies today. But these 9 kingdoms are all of the NGOs that have literally decimated the world, and all those countries in socialist concepts that really are about wealth transferring from the peoples inside those countries and vastly the colonial world to this wealthy elite. It's been going on forever and a day. Has America been corrupted over time? Yes. Yes, there's bad actors there too. But Canada is one of the top. Places like Denmark, one of the top. And why? Because they've always been modeled that way. After WEF's presentation, all the damage that Donald J. Trump proposes to do, that many still aren't in belief that it's going to happen, we again had a president on the world stage outline all of these kingdom tariffs of all these colonial countries, that America's going to take it back. And you can look at the chart. It's on the GOP website. You can look at it. This is their best minds. Obviously have worked at it for a long time. Obviously it spans many years of tariffs and the wealth generation back to America, the power back to the American people. And a lot are jumping on board. Now we have Denmark going, we're going to have this meeting, and Rubio saying, yeah, it's over what we're going to do with Greenland, meaning giving the people a vote to say what they want. The territory imposed autocracy of the Kingdom of Denmark over those people, or America? What do you think the people will say? What do you think America's going to do with Greenland? I think we all know what the narrative is. It's been made very, very clear. It was made very clear at the WEF forum, where WEF mouth hit the floor. We've seen Donald J. Trump before there. You've never seen him or the GOP like that ever before. There is nothing like it ever presented by any presidency in our modern times since World War II. And from there, he goes on, he lists Canada. He lists what he's going to do to Canada if Canada doesn't do the 51st state. We've already watched him mobilize on Mexico. We've watched the lockout of Cuba. We watched absolutely the end of the IOM attached to WEF. All done. These people are seeing him. They're ceding to Donald J. Trump. They even put out a report that if America succeeds with Canada from the WEF, if you've missed it, that America's economy is going to expand almost immediately in that situation by $6.5 trillion. From the 2.2 GDP of Canada to $6.5 trillion. That doesn't include Greenland, Panama, the whole narrative of a complete North America known as Turtle Island. People see this as, oh, it's not going to happen, or there's going to be restoration. He's not going to tariff everybody. Where in American history do you get that when America goes toe-to-toe with a nation on trade? Where has America ever made leniencies against any of these countries? The answer is none. It's a one-hit deal on the entire country. There's no, well, this special industry or this special group or this special region. That's not how America works. American presidency goes nation to nation. That's how it works. The states don't have any barriers of trade. It was articulated well in the Commerce Acts, which was made a very, very long time ago. The crafters of the American Constitution's second round knew that this was going to be an issue. They definitely didn't want to end up like the UK again, or like this Economic World Forum, which isn't its first name. Before WEF in 1971, it was called the Economic World Forum under the UK. You can find it, Palace of Nations. Again, guess where? Geneva, Switzerland. You'll find they have the same address. Same address, same organization. It's just a transition out of UK because at that time Sir Winston Churchill and then King George VI signed two treaties, one with the Soviet Union, 1942, another one in 1941. Everything your Canadian politicians slammed the United States on, and you never entered World War I like we did. You never entered World War II. Because they crafted treaties. Your Canadian politicians are so bloated, either extremely incompetent and stupid, or they're really corrupted and are that far along with the WEF that Donald J. Trump just stomped. And he stomped Canada, especially because of their big mouth politicians. Those two treaties in World War II in 1941, 1942 restricted the UK and all of its colonies from participating in this style against the United States, or it was bye-bye. For everyone who doesn't know, Germany storm-rolled France. France was gone instantly. Within a week, it fell. UK, without the Soviet Union and without the American assistance, would have fallen. There is absolutely no doubt about it that it would have been Japan and Germany, two of the founding authorities of the League of Nations, would have had the power, including Spain as well too. It would have been UK and France gone. And UK, France was gone in World War II. UK begged America, please help us defeat the other colonials. And America said, you know what, we don't like you as a colonial. It's anti-American 180 degrees. It's anti-we the people. You will sign this and you'll decolonize the whole world of all your colonies. You will free all those people. All the human rights we have today, everything anti-WEF, anti all those NGOs, all from the League of Nations, had to be signed off. That's why they get recreated. Same addresses, same location. You got the Palace of Nations, Geneva, Switzerland, the center of the Nine Kingdoms meeting place that USA was not a member of. USA hit them first, hit them hard, made major announcements and went after their jewels, their colonial assets. For UK, number one jewel is Canada One. You can go look at it. You can go look at that tower called Canada One, London Wharf. It's a big, tall tower, largest one, with a pointed top, pyramid on the top. That's called Canada One Tower, the jewel of the British Empire. And he's going after it, just like he's going after Denmark's jewel. He's going after all the jewels of the colonial, and he's going to free them, and he's going to strengthen North America. He told WEF, told everybody, and he didn't hold any punches. It's game over for this system that should have been eradicated as promised way back in World War II, even before World War II had even got through half of it. It was already negotiated, and they didn't live up to their promise. Like I said, there's a chart, and it shows since 1960, all of these kingdom empires pulling all their investments in the military pacts they made with the United States, all the promises. And you watched it from 4% go all the way down below 2%. You'll find all 9 kingdoms below the 2% by a large margin. Donald J. Trump was in power in 2017, everybody. He made them make a commitment, all of them. You will achieve just 2%. The law had changed in 2014. USA gave them all a break and said, yeah, it always was 4%. You're not making that, but we're going to mandate you now 2%. In 2017, Donald J. Trump met with all of these assholes, these elites, the old world order that a lot of people confuse with the new world order, the real corrupt, those who would never give you any human rights, let alone humanity. You're not even a person. You're a subject, a peasant, a serf, or worse, a savage, non-human being. They even had levels. They did this where there were no human rights. A lot of human rights we think come from the goodness of our governments. No, they come from these guys, the United States, right or left, didn't matter. All of those rights come from what America did, what America achieved in World War II, and the Allies. We can turn a blind eye to the Soviet Union. They brought forward a lot of these human rights too. Not as many as America, but who's counting when you're giving the people the rights and the power, and you're giving humanity love and all of it. But it's fallen off. And these evil actors from pre-World War II have come back. Known as Axis, that was all colonial evil powers where they believed in subjugation, dehumanization, and basically slavery. And that is what they try to bring. But now we got Donald J. Trump saying, no, and I'm taking these things away from you. These things you promised you would never do again, or you would dismember. You never did. You've let it fester, grow, affect America. Now America's saying, no. We gave you a mandate in 2014. 2017, they all promised Donald J. Trump they would do it. Don't worry, Donald Trump. Canada being one of the worst. Of course, they're top in these NGOs and that old world order because they're the first jewel. And they promised him, Justin Trudeau made that agreement, as did Harper before for the 2014, not Donald J. Trump, but Made to America. And not only did he not live up to it, he defunded it 2 more times, sold Arctic icebreakers made by the United States, sold at cost to Canada to protect the Arctic for Arctic countries. They sold a bunch to China. China is not an Arctic country. It's not. It wasn't in the agreement. It's a breach. There's been many breaches, left or right in Canada, who are up here on crown autocracy. Nothing like the United States down here at we the people, left or right. That's the difference here. And we're up here at autocracy, left or right, which doesn't give room for much left or right besides moral virtue or signaling. So he measured. He lost the election, as we all saw in 2020. COVID had happened. America kind of slipped off it. But under Joe Biden, for the 4 years, these guys all watched. They watched the 9 kingdoms. They recorded. They sat back, and we think, oh, geez, we were so taken away by all the court actions, the attack from the left. from the global media, the Nine Kingdoms media, the propaganda, our own country, Canada, attack, attack, attack. But they were hard at work. They were all hard at work. So many of us were. And what happened when Donald J. Trump won the election, comes to power, and even the month leading up after, he hits all these topics. He brings it forward. You see all the work they did in the 4 years watching Joe Biden. It is very, very uncommon for a president to return. In fact, it's so uncommon, I think it's only happened once before, where a president lost an election and then came back for a third term, I believe. Not have to look at that, but either way, it's extremely rare in more than 200 years of history. Donald J. Trump did it. And then all of these nine kingdoms, all WEFers, all World Economic Forum, were put on a stage, and Donald J. Trump said, we sat back for 4 years. The promises you made the 4 years before that, and now here we are today, and you didn't live up to any of it. You promised Americans, you promised us you would. We've incurred so much debt to protect you and your interests, yet you do nothing for us because you're not for us. You teach your people to hate America, hate the American system. We're not stupid. And now we've got you dead to rights, where you did not do what you said you were going to do. And here I am, Donald J. Trump, today, 8 years later, facing you all down, saying, here's the 8-year history. You're nothing but liars. Now, in Canada, we all know, provincially, federally, territorially, yeah, they tell us all these problems. They tell us they have the solution. We elect them, and they don't do anything meaningful about it for all their 4 years. If they even get more than that, and they pull a con job on the so many, and they get away with it, there's no accountability. Well, I'm sorry, folks, but there is accountability. There is accountability today, and it's over. It's over. And a lot of people aren't coming to terms with that. They think there'll be a deal. The elite will get something. Donald Trump will bend. Do you know what he just went through in the last 4 years? Did you watch? Did you see how they tried to destroy him criminally, civilly, spiritually, financially? They didn't break him. They didn't win. And in fact, win, win, win. And now it's fight, fight, fight. Do you really think he's going to back down now that he's president in these last 4 years, where he's already well into his 70s? He doesn't need any of this. He never did. He has said, I am going to change America for the great, for the better, for all the eons to come. You will all see. He's got a majority, Senate, Congress, to get it all done, and it's partisan on many, many of these issues. Canadians think they're invincible, or that somehow this global elite's going to win. If you missed the WEF video, you should watch it. Anyone narrating anything other than Donald J. Trump standing up to that, laying a beating on that, putting America first for once and for all, the final showdown, some of it militarily, some of it economically. I don't think people realize how America views treaties and agreements and the clauses inside them that they do per country, like no other country in the world, and they hold to them. They hold them as dear as the natives do. Why do you think that is? Because the Americans have the American Indian. They have the same system infused into everything that is America. They took it with them, and they have it on the federal level, and that's how they view the world. They view the world through that lens, that style of federalism, with that power vested in the federal government at the executive level, president, and that's their mandate. The national security of the United States, the security of the continent, whatever that takes, and for the freedom of all peoples, and to spread that morality, that righteousness across the world, and not let anyone take that away from the American people. That is their primary mandate. That is their service to the American people, and they're going to do it. It was said, people would say, oh, he's just blowing his horn. No president has ever blown a horn like that, ever. Ever. And people still need time. As far as tariffs, they could be anywhere from what he said, February 1st, all the way out to April 1st in full implementation. There's reasons for that. He needs to have that collection service that has to be done by Congress. Bills drafted, passed. Yes, you're going to need some Democrats for that. I think you'll get that. Just so people who don't believe it, those 10% tariffs are all listed on the Canadian website as they are listed on the American website. And that was limited tariffs. That was negotiated tariffs that USA won't back down on. And they're matched in Canada. And we talk about our inflation and costs. That's where it comes from. And America will continue to drill, baby, drill, not only in oil and gas, but on that trade deficit against Canada, where Canada has an absolute deficit with every other country they trade with near. There's one more, but it's such a small amount of revenue. I mean, it's great to have a surplus, but it's America, that giant sum, that massive positive trade surplus for Canada against the United States that keeps Canada going. And like I said, it's at the mercy of the United States, who gives us the transportation, who gives us the value and supply chains globally, gives us the security globally. Because I promise you, if Canada was out there trading, starting out in the Middle East and all these other countries with Canadian vessels, they would be bombed, hijacked, pirated, no different than any other country. In fact, we'd lose a lot of our goods. Our military standing is a joke. We couldn't even deliver the production we make. People talk about, well, why do we get discounts? Why do we get... Because we don't do any of those things. More than that, we don't even live up to our treaty agreements. And in fact, none of the 9 kingdoms do anymore. And USA is saying, it's over. You couldn't maintain this that was expected of you, that you signed, that you promised over and over again. Well, now I'm back. I won the election that you desperately tried to remove me from. If you think he doesn't know that, the whole of the GOP doesn't know that, you're sadly mistaken. And it was your country, not only at the federal level, but all of the provincial and territorial levels. They were all behind it 100%. Your crown, not you the people, but your crown. And that is a federal and provincial monster that people don't want to admit. And that's your problem, Canadians, and that's your weakness. And I promise you, that will be exploited by this guy and his majority, which means it isn't just Donald J. Trump. It isn't his 252 administrators of the executive. It's also the Congress. It's also the Senate in majority. And you're going to see things that have never happened before materialize and happen. It's all going to be rolling out day after day, week after week, month after month, like I've said. And I know people have to see it. Oh, I don't believe it. I won't. Hey, many countries have said that. Many countries have said exactly what so many Canadians are saying. It'll never happen. Business interests. Hey, you go to Venezuela and there's so many more. It'll never happen. Oh, well, it's different. That country's over here. It's over there. No, it's about the impact you have on the United States on any given day and the promises and the treaties you made that you didn't live up to. And Canada's first on that list. Why? Canada won. Number one source, number one investor against the United States, investing in that destruction of the United States as they're designed to do. The Great Wall of Canada. Why is the population reduced to 9% of Canada? Why is it only all along the border and a little bit up that we're vested in, but the rest, no Canadians, nowhere to be seen, at least anything over 1% of the population? Why is that? Why is it only private property in these key areas? Because they wanted to keep you there and build up that wall. Don't let America go north. Don't let America expand. America went south. They went for Spain. They did all that. They destroyed the Spanish Empire. But now, here we are on this day, and now they're looking north and even further south, but they're looking at North America now, and they know we need to change this narrative or we're going to fall. We, the people, is going to fall. At the national level, they know if we allow these countries to expand anymore in tremendous blocking groups with such tremendous populations, and we don't expand our union, we're going to fall because we're only 10% of that global population, even less. I think it's even 3%. I got to look. But 9 billion, maybe not, maybe it's a little more, but either way, you're facing things that are 10 times your size. When you look at India and China together and a whole consortium of Southeast Asia, just those alone, never mind Russia, the rest of those, you're already 10 times the size of the United States of America, and you start adding those economies together in BRICS, that's a mighty force. WEF too, the European Union, if USA did this Union of North America, they're on par with the European Union. The Economic Forum, World Economic Forum, starts to look pretty minor and small at that point. And I think people can appreciate that, or just how far America's willing to go, as they have in all of their history. Just because it hasn't been done in quite a few years doesn't mean it can't happen on any given presidency. And we're seeing that, and he's going to leave a legacy to the likes of which people haven't seen. Like I said, share this video, get it out there. It's real, credible, verifiable. And if you're not on board yet, just hold on to this and see where we get. If you think it's just rhetoric, that a president would be on the world stage hammering all these things for all of the world and mentioning Canada the way they did and saying what they said and then backtrack on it, that shows incredible weakness. It is not, and I repeat, not the reality of America. It never has been. That's my video. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And we'll see what comes in the next few days, the next week, absolutely the next month. Bye now.